And as you notice, there are some new stop signs with those two little... Hello everyone and welcome to Best Side Cycling. Today I'm here in downtown, here at 2nd Avenue and Pike Street. Right behind me is a lot of construction, but it's also where they famously took out the cherry blossoms to make something new going on. But the point of today's video is that I'm going to give you a tour of how cycling along Pike Street and Pine Street is like today. Those are two of the main sort of northeast-southwest corridors that you use. There's been a lot of changes recently, such as some new stop signs added for safety, but it's also a bit of a mess. So let's go ride and check it out. So we're here on Pike heading northbound, and you can already see all the construction that's going on. It's super hectic. It's really strange right now because there's this protected bike lane on the left, but most of it is not really functional, and then there's this bus lane on the right, which technically bicycles can use. So what I'm going to demonstrate here today is what you would look like if you were to use the protected bike lanes, but we'll see very soon up ahead that it's super duper awkward. But yeah, there was a broken back there, and I have Matthew again on his electric unicycle just following me, so this gives you a really wide angle in terms of what this looks like today. So yeah, definitely a lot of things going on, and then we're here at the convention center finally getting a short break. And I also realized that my e-bike isn't actually turned on right now. This e-bike that I got recently for commuting, and also mainly for my spouse to join me in my ride, so definitely look forward to that. But yeah, what's the really awkward thing that I'm gonna sort of point out here is that the left side, this protected bike lane, quickly disappears and just turns into a sharrow. So right now is this buffered bike lane with parking on the left. Now there's nothing. And if you were to stay on the right side, that's where the new bike lane is going to show up in a little bit, because Pike ends up turning into a two-way road. So you'll see here on the left there's like some sharrows and things, but there's a middle lane with traffic, and then this right lane with the bus. Like about here, or really if you're confident enough to ride in this area, you probably should have been in the bus lane the whole time, maybe, just so that you can at least just keep your line and just hopefully have a smooth transition up. So yeah, riding here, you see some other folks sort of like-minded. Someone with his e-bike actually turned on, and then you see me. I just finally turned on the light of my e-bike so I get to accelerate again and going up this hill to Pike. It's definitely a good one. But yeah, from here you're going to get into the protected bike lane section. But in terms of what I wanted to feature today is definitely in regards to just give you a feel of what this looks like, but also in terms of what goes on ahead. There's also some new signage that is really recent, maybe just within the past couple weeks. There are some stop signs that are now in place that I'll definitely point out and talk about. But yeah, it's a brilliant day here in Seattle. Tons of people riding. So you'll definitely always need a heads up when you're riding in this area. There's just a ton of foot traffic and cyclists as well, as this route basically is your main gateway into the Capitol Hill neighborhood from downtown. And it's not too far at all, but yeah, it's definitely a very packed area, and one that features many cars, many tourists, people parking, all the above. So here I got probably a little bit too excited by the hill, and also the fact that I'm on an e-bike. It definitely flattens them out even more, but Matthew makes quick work and then catches back right up as we approach this extremely awkward intersection where I think I got it wrong, because there's a really hidden sign there to the right that says stop here on red, but the bike lane goes well past it into a section where the side road on the right has a stop sign. So yeah, I definitely would chalk that up to a really weird design in terms of what cyclists are supposed to do there. But we reached to the point of the new intersections with the stop signs at Bolston, Summit, and Belmont. So let's take a quick stop and talk about them. All right, so we're now at Pine and Summit. And as you notice, there are some new stop signs with those two little cool ears that they put on it for extra visibility. So definitely it's going to change these few intersections here on Summit, Bolston, both on Pike and Pine. You're going to notice the traffic flow is probably going to be a lot slower, but also hopefully a lot safer for especially pedestrians in this area. Traditionally, cars and bikes would bomb down this sort of road. So definitely if you're on a bike now, you got to watch heads up for this. There is the safety stop law, but that really assumes that there's no other cars in the intersection. So just take it safe and easy, but hoping that these changes here at least would, yeah, slow cars down and make it easier for us in the long run. So I'm gonna keep going here, and I want to show you all of Pike and Pine. I haven't done a long video in a while, so why not? Let's go with this. But anyway, as we're in this design, watch out for people in the bike lanes. This design that we see here where the bikes are pushed out to the sides, we see it along Dexter and a lot of the sort of popular corridors. I think overall it's good in terms of just separation, but the main downside is of course that you don't really have an escape route or really room to maneuver as a cyclist. But given that this is going in the uphill direction, I think this is fine. You shouldn't be going that fast anyway. But yeah, here's, you see that stop sign in action. The key thing here is definitely just to have a good eyes up and see what the cars are doing. Generally, as a cyclist, you want to spend as least amount of time at these intersections as you can to use your momentum, and then that was sort of what the safety stop law is about. But if there's other cars there before you already in motion, you never want to contest a car. It's all about defensive cycling, and I'll definitely be talking a lot more about that. But especially in these parts, you have to adapt to higher riding. But anyway, that was really quick. We're here in Broadway, and that's what it looks like. And I'm going to transition us over here to Pine Street now. So this is going downhill, the nicer direction, and we start off without any buffered bike lanes or anything. But I just wanted to show you, especially in upcoming where there is the stop signs that were just installed, just how cars are reacting. I think overall it is doing a good thing. This used to be part of my commuting route maybe a year ago, pretty often rolling down this hill. So it's gonna see how that sort of differs. And you can also just see my setup here in my cycling kit, but also just riding with flats today and in a commuter-like setup, which I really enjoy about having a bike like this, is where it's just a lot easier to just pack less and be able to ride. But yeah, you see these stop signs right here in action. Cars needing to, and bikes need to make way. And yeah, going downhill here, you're not gonna get those flex posts, so you really need to watch out. As now I anticipate overall that Pine is just gonna be a lot more backed up with cars, just as people are sort of staggering through these different stop signs. So here, the yellow bollards are new. Here the stop sign is new, and yeah, I'm just making sure that I'm just staying safe out here. It's interesting because I find that as a cyclist now that's been riding a ton on road across a lot of different bikes, from a Brompton to a carbon road bike to an e-bike, and in different environments. Like I live out on the east side, but here is downtown. You really do need to adjust your riding style for each environment in terms of what you're dealing with. It's sort of easy to say it like that, but in the real world, I think it's just a mix of like just thinking about what kind of things you need to look out for, what kind of tendencies drivers will have, because dealing with cars that are just zipping by at 50 miles per hour is different than dealing with cars going relatively slow but just everywhere. So you just need to, but the key thing is really just to always think ahead and look ahead. Those are things that will never fail you as we continue here, and we're gonna see some pretty goofy things along Pine Street as well in terms of some design. But overall, this downhill experience is a lot more simple in the sense that all you get is really the buffered bike lane. So definitely watch out for any cars that might be going to try to get some parking or things like that. Or the right turns. You just don't want to take risks. So Matt's giving me this cool front shot here as we're going down here. You can just see there's just rows of cars parked on each side. We're going to be soon approaching Bourne Avenue, which is another way you can get into sort of Salt Lake Union and the city. But generally, cyclists are just recommended to stay here in this right lane as we just go a straight shot all the way back to where we started. But anyway, if you found this video interesting, please roll over the like button and subscribe. I am going to be commuting into downtown a lot more often and using all sorts of different bikes, my Brompton, my normal road bike, this bike. So if you want to see stuff like this, just let me know, or things you want to learn about how to commute in downtown. But yeah, these two roads, I'd say they're pretty crucial in order to connect a lot of the places that people go. There's probably more roundabout ways that are obviously way less hectic, going through north into sort of the East Lake areas, or if you go south and around. But this is one of the most direct way and just things that people like to do. And then here is probably where I'm going to bring it up again, where there's a really strange setup. Here, this is the bus lane on the right that bikes can use. Up ahead, there's going to be a bike lane that shifts over to the left, but then it's going to get cut off again, and I'll show off where exactly that happens. So yeah, we're here, and then now we're on the shared parts here. I'm aiming for this bike lane that just is really awkward to get to, and then a car's parked in it. So yeah, now I'm sort of stuck anyway, and we just keep going here as we're gonna be approaching into like the Westlake Park in areas. And I think up ahead is that another, oh nope, I'm good, I'm not being blocked this time, but there's definitely a lot of pedestrian traffic here, so take it easy. But I do run into this car making a very slow left and another pedestrian, so this is just to give you an idea of all the things you really need to be looking out for. But yeah, we're just going straight, and it's sort of, yeah, it's I think that the experience biking here is sort of similar to maybe what people think about driving downtown. Like, nobody really likes to do it, but I think on a bike it definitely, at least you have the mobility and you don't have to worry about parking. But it's definitely not everyone's cup of tea, but it's something that you do end up doing a lot. And the greatest thing is that everything is relatively denser, so you can reach so many more destinations. You can see so many different things if you bike in downtown. But yeah, it's these routes aren't necessarily things that I would just say any tourist just come here and do. There's definitely much better trails and nicer things for that. So here we're on to this section, and yeah, we have the planter bike lanes that we've been seeing this whole time. I haven't looked at the full plans for Pike and Pine. I don't know if these are going to be upgraded into full protected ones, but this is a weird intersection. So you see here, I'm going straight, boom, there's a curb. Like, why? Why is there a curb right there? Like, it makes no sense. My friend, actually, Matthew, he took a tumble there because in the dark, if you're just going straight, if you're just going dead on straight, you would just handlebar flipped over that. Same thing here. It's just sort of really awkward curbage where it's not really clear where things are, and I'm just weaving a little bit left and right trying to stay. But I think from here it gets pretty straightforward. There is for now, nice, relatively straightforward bike lanes here, but oh wait, there's construction. So now I have to really pay attention, look back to the right, make sure that there's nothing happening. But I'll definitely give a pass to the city in terms of like all active construction. I get it. Things are changing all the time. But in terms of how that's designed with the left-right, it's definitely a bit of a headache. Let me know your thoughts, and then I'm going to end off this video. All right, so we're back here at the 2nd and Pine. So hope you enjoyed that tour of what it's like to ride Pike and Pine right now. It obviously is not quite ideal. I know a lot of it was under construction, but hopefully those updates were helpful to keep you safe. And see you all in the next video.